So, welcome, friends, again to Thinking Thursday, our regular weekly group. And today we have our wonderful guest, Mala Raja. She's a past life regression therapist and alternate therapist in breathwork, in family constellation, in inner child work, life between life healing. She also practices shamanism, which she's going to be talking about today. And it's been over a decade now that she's been using all these different kind of modalities. ब्राह्मण भी रहते ना पिता थोड़ा ये था. Mala has been initiated into spirituality by Dr. Newton Kondaviti and Dr. Lakshmi. She has learned shamanic healing from Gurpreet Singh Ji, and she's had the chance, lucky chance actually, of learning to live on prana from Jasmuheen. Many of you may know of Jasmuheen also, one of the masters who has been living on sun prana for the last many, many years. She's also done the journey from Brandon Bayes, breathwork from Leonard Orr and Dr. Newton and Dr. Lakshmi. She's been organizing and hosting spiritual workshops for now over a decade. I love what she says, that her journey from Mala to One Mala is all about grace and gratitude that she has from her masters, and she teaches also. She takes clinical sessions, and she's just a lovely person. हम लोग जब भी मिलते हैं, we meet over lunch, and then the lunch goes on for many hours, and we share and we talk and we really have fun. And I love about Mala is she's always vibrant and bright. She wears the brightest of colors, and her costumes or her dresses are always so beautiful, which really looks nice on her, and a long hair and a limpid eyes, and she's just a lovely person. She, both her children, her husband, they live right here in Bombay, and her home, as you can see behind, is also decorated very tastefully. The other thing that Mala is very good at is flower arrangement, ikebana. She holds these exhibitions also, and she participates in them also. Recently, she had one. I think it was 2 months ago, if I'm not mistaken. And we just keep in touch once in a while, but Mala knows that she's a part of my heart. So, Mala, I welcome you to this amazing group of people, and I'm sure they're going to benefit a lot from what you say. Before she starts, please mute yourself and see to it that you stay on mute. Okay? Because Bhuma and I can't keep looking, otherwise, we'll be missing what Mala is going to talk. So, please don't do that. Yeah? Let's just be a little bit more respectful to everybody present here. Okay? So, Mala, my dear, I welcome you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Trupti Jain, for this beautiful introduction, and for all the love that you have been, showering on me. And when I began my journey, one person who held my hand was Dr. Trupti Jain. And it's really beautiful how, she's been, empowering us, each one of us. I'm sure, wherever she gets chance, she always makes it a point to introduce us, encourage us, and her words are always so loving. It's really a blessing to be in touch with her and to be in her grace. And thank you so much, all of you, to be here today. And I'm sure all of you who are here is here for a reason today, because about shamanism, you cannot be here until and unless your masters and your guides have given you the permission. So let's fold our hands. And before we begin, let's invoke our masters. I'll start with little drumming. Let's bring in our masters and guides. Let's breathe in and invoke all our guides, masters, angels, our power animals here today with us for this session. Today, let's put out an intent that may they reveal themselves to us and guide us to the path that we need to walk. Welcome, friends, and each one of you today, as you sit with all your spirit guides and masters and angels. Some of you may know who they are, and some of you may not know that you are guided or you are held by spirit guides. When I say spirit guides, they are all kind of gods and goddesses. In shamanic language, we call them spirits. But in the other world, spirit is held as spirit, like an entity. But all of life is spirit. That is energy, and it's God and goddesses. So before we begin, if any one of you have any questions about shamanism, or there is a specific thing that you want to know about it, then we can have like a few things, and then probably we can experience, because then I can know what is the group uh, wanting to understand about shamanism and how it is, so I can take a lead from there.
Yeah, so I can suggest
So
that.
anybody who wants to.
Yeah, so Mala, I can suggest that people can put their questions on the chat. So you can just read those questions and then take it from there.
Okay, so would Bhuma help me with the thing, because I would want to focus on my thing instead of reading.
Sure.
You could just.
Yeah. So there is a question here that what is the origin of shamanism?
Okay, so let's begin with that. If you understand from where the human cycle began, we all started. The oldest form of healing comes from the tribes, where uh, each tribe had a healer, or the tribe followed a healing process, and that healing process came from nature. So in olden days, people worshipped sun, people worshipped water, people worshipped trees. Basically, it's nature. They connected nature to as a symbol, which is very true for shamanism. Shamanism reflects or helps in healing when you're connected with nature. So if you're not connected with nature, which is anyway a part of healing, because if you are not connected to your nature, because that's from where you are coming from, and oldest form of healing came, the oldest healers were shamans, and the shamans connected to the nature, they connected to the lower worlds, and they connected to the higher worlds. So higher worlds means where we feel the gods and the goddesses resides. So there is a technique in shamanism where you can connect to your spirit guides, and you can bring in the messages, because in olden days the main problem used to be where they will get food, where is their safety, where how will they protect the tribe, what was. In recent times the need of human beings are different. Now we want more healing for our physical, mental, emotional state. Initially, they only had these issues. So a shaman would normally do a journey and would find out where there will be water, where there will be food for them, where will they be having safety. So a shaman journey would always be correct, because the whole tribe was surviving on that particular person who would give them the right answer. So that is why the shamans were always very powerful. Shamans don't become shamans by some degree. They just get that status by the group or by the community. So you cannot write like how we write that I'm a Dr. Bhuma Vashi. So I cannot write that I am Shaman Mala Raja, because this is a privilege that is given by a community when they see that the person has been chosen. And now the role of the shaman has changed. Now it's more about healing, because now the kind of lifestyle that we are all living in, it's a different kind of a thing. So it is the oldest form of healing modality, and each one of us have been a shaman, because we've come from the basic uh, life where we were all hunter gatherers. We have started our journey, so we all in our some lifetimes have been a shaman. Does that answer your question, whoever had asked?
Yes, yes. And the next question is that there are a lot of people, Mala, who are new to this shamanism. So it would be really helpful if you begin about what exactly is shamanism, how does it work, what is journey, and everything in detail.
So shamanism is basically connecting to your masters and to spirit guides. So when we talk about spirit guides and when we speak about life as a whole, everything is energy. If you all agree, can I have a thumbs up if all of you agree? Yeah, so we all are energy beings. So everything has energy. Even even this has energy. My drum has energy. This drum has energy. The food we eat is energy, because that food when we eat, it heals us, right? And if you are in an environment where you suddenly go and you say, oh, I went to this place and I was very uncomfortable. Have you ever felt that? You walked into and sometimes you walk into a space and you feel, oh my God, I just loved it. So it's the spirit of that place, it's the energy of that place. The only problem that has happened in the recent times is that we have stopped connecting to the spirits, because we feel ki there is something else somewhere else. But it's right here. We all, the energy field in which we are sitting, it's the spirit. There is a spirit of the room, there is a spirit of this place, there is a spirit of the road that you walk on. There's a spirit of the birds, animals. Everything has a spirit. So that is why shamans always feel that everything. So if we pick up Vedanta or Upanishads or Bhagavad Gita, they say God resides everywhere. Shamanism also speaks about the same thing, that everything is spirit. So if you are looking for guidance, how will you get the guidance? When you connect to the spirit of that place. There is a story, very nice story, where this lady, she wanted to move to another city and she was finding it very difficult to settle over there. And then she realized, oh my God, this is the best thing that I can do. Is she connected to the spirit of that land, of that city. And then she said that, can I have the permission to come and live in this place? Can I get the permission? Because if you go into somebody's house, you may not be welcomed. But if you make an effort to ask that person, can I come to your house? And then it's the partnership that you need to have with your spirit guides, because each one of us are guided. We always feel there's an external force that is helping me, But who is that external force? What is the face of that external force? That we need to know. And same thing is about power animals. So how many of you know about power animals? Not many. None of you. One person. Anybody else? So power animals, if you look at any gods and goddesses, along with them, what do you see? Do you see animal along with every gods and goddesses? When a child is born, in even though the child is gets very scared of noise, or but why do we give them soft toys with all those tiger and monkey and all? They don't get scared. Newborn baby, they give first animal is lion, or there is an, a bear, a teddy bear. Why he never gets scared? Because we all have power animals. That is where your power comes from. So when you're lacking power in your life, that means somewhere you've lost your power. That means you've lost your power animal. So if you see gods and goddesses, they have 2, 3 power animals. So Lakshmi has an owl, Ma has a Sherawali Ma has a sher. So like that, each one of us are having these power animals. But because we don't know what they are, who they are, even if we are seeing certain omens in our life, we are not able to, understand, because we have moved to such technical knowledge or about spirituality that we have disconnected ourselves with our own self. So I personally feel, of all the things that I have learned, I have understood, all the spiritual work that I have done, you cannot progress till you have not connected to your shamanic self. Because till you don't retrieve your shamanic uh, powers, to be able to connect to your mother earth, to be able to connect to your spirit guides, or to be able to connect to your power animals, everything else comes to a point and then it stays there. To move ahead, we need life as one. We all speak about oneness, but how do we become oneness? Because I don't have knowledge about the upper world or the lower world. I don't have the knowledge about who I am. I'm not connecting to the 5 elements that I actually made up of. So how will I progress till I've not understood those 5 elements and the spirits, everything, like even a table? So my children get very upset because I talk to everybody and everything. So they say, Mom, you're mad. You talk to butterflies and you talk to trees and you talk to crows and you talk to the table. But it has spirit, isn't it? It has the spirit. Even if the tree has been broken down into a wood and it has been constructed into a table, it has the energy. Even when the flower has been disconnected from the tree or the plant, that that flower lives for another 15 days in the water, so it has life, isn't it? The food that has been cut from the farms and lying in your fridge, if it was not life, how would you be getting life, isn't it? So we have never thought about this. We think this is dead and this is alive, but everything is alive. Every piece of food, uh, every morsel of food that we put in our mouth is life. That is why in Bhagavad Gita it is given as, it's called, um, sorry, um,
Annam Brahmam Vedayati.
an is called as Brahma, because it is giving you life. So everything is spirit, everything has life, and everything is supporting us. the reason why we don't feel supported, because we are not acknowledging them. We are not realizing that this is helping me, and we are kind of, throwing it, abandoning it. We are shoving it out of our life, that no, no, this is not what I want, but that is supporting us. Everything around us is supporting us. And journey is a method by which a shaman travels to the upper world and the lower world, or in between world, for the healing purpose, or for helping into understanding. Like, if one of you ask me that, Mala, I have this problem, what do I do? And I say, you should do this. So that is my mind telling you. That's not the real answer. But when you ask somebody who's practicing shamanism, they will say, okay, I will do a journey and I will find out. And then they will do a journey to the upper world or to the lower world. So let me correct on this, that when you connect to your power animals are also gods and goddesses in the animal form. That is why they are always residing next to the gods and goddesses. So everything is a face of God in a different form. If they are birds, they are gods and goddesses in the bird form, animal form in the form of the plants, or in the form of, that is why initially, as far as I understand, the stones and all have been given so much of importance, is because from the very beginning it has been given the place of a spirit. So if that is a spirit, it is guiding you. So because we have very little time, if we do some experiment with stones, with plants, with certain things, we would realize that, oh, everything is giving us some information. But this information, normally we don't do meditation, because there are times when I would sit in meditation and I will get disturbed, I'll start thinking about something else, and I may not be able to connect directly with my spirit guides, and I may miss out on a point. Also, there could be a reason that, if I'm meditating, and while I meditate, the my client cannot wait for that 2 hours, 3 hours, that my client needs instant answer, that now I'm in this situation, I have had this problem, I need my answer instantly. So shamanism, the journey is happens very fast. You don't have to wait for 2 3 hours of meditation. In meditation you cannot be 200% sure whether what information you have got is correct or not correct. But when you do a journey, and when you do the journey, and when you connect with your masters, and what the masters give you is the answer. My mind may say that, no, this is not the right answer, but that is always the right answer. And it has happened with me. I normally never take any clients without a journey. Only when I take a permission from my masters in the journey, and when I understand, because a person will come to me and will say that, I have this problem. And when I do a journey and I'll connect with my masters, and I will ask that, Anu Oberoi is asking me that she is having this problem. So they will say that, Anu has not told you that this is not her problem, that is her problem. So whether I should do that session or not, they will give me a permission. They will say, you are wasting your time. She is not going to come back to you. Or they will say that, yes, please go ahead and help her and make sure that she is doing this. So you are guided by your master. So you are out of this. You are just helping the person in the physical form, but actually masters are helping you. So to think that I am helping anyone here, no. your master is connecting you with you through me, and you are being guided and you are being taken care of. So when I come back to Anu Abroyji and I tell, there is this place here, and she will say, आपको कैसे पता चल गया? आपने क्यों ऐसे बोला? So then that is how you validate that your masters are guiding you correct. And I have seen in my 10 years, 12 years that all the uh, help that I have received from my masters have been 200% correct. Because when I have, even if it is a word, like a client came to me and I asked masters, what do I do? And they didn't tell me anything about her. They said, soti nahi hai puri raat. So I said, chalo, theek hai, ab isse zyada. Then I kept asking, they didn't say anything. And she came and I told her that, you don't sleep in the night? And she said, no, no, I sleep very well. But you know what? I have a huge problem because of which now I cannot sleep all night. And for days and days, I've not slept. So, somewhere they give you a point from where the client gives out what needs to be told, what is the main point. So, here the idea is that when you are doing shamanism, you're doing journey, you are connecting with your spirit guides, your higher self. You're connecting with the spirit of the land. Sometimes when you're walking and you're feeling fearful, what do we do normally? We feel scared. Of kya hoga? In that sense, what I do is I invoke the spirit of the land and the road, and I tell them that I am here walking along with you. Please protect me and take care of me. And I would walk in the night at 11, I would walk at 12, I go for my walks, and I'm always safe. I always feel that they are, walking along with me. Or I'll tell my spirit, my part animals, come on, I'm going for a walk, come along, walk with me. So I know my 2 3 power animals are walking along with me. I'm absolutely safe. So it's very playful, it is very very magical, and it's very joyful, and it's amazing how you have all these masters so willing to help you and guide you. It's just that we are lacking the partnership with them, or we are lacking the practice. So my teacher always tells me that it's all about practice. Anything we do, we want to master it, it's all about practices. So the more you practice your partnership with your spirit guides or your part animals, the powerful you become. And the more powerful you become, the humble you should get. And you should have more grace and gratitude in your life, because end of the day, it's not about you, it's them. So are we ready for some more inquiry?
Yes.
Wants to
Yes,
ask?
there is a question here that you said that all of us have been shamans at some point in time. Can you
Yeah.
please elaborate on that?
So your nature will reflect that we all have been shaman, because it's like, when you become human in it's like saying that in one of your lifetime you would be a plant or a tree, or you would be a animal, isn't it? Or a stone, because that's how our journey has been. So being a shaman is also just like that, like how you've had a human form and you've been a woman and a man, right? Like that, we've always one of our lifetimes have been a shaman. We have this knowledge of shamanism. Basically, shamanism is only about being able to connect to your environment around you. That's how we have been we've started the human race, where we always were connected with the nature. It's just in recent times that we have started to connect with more more things that are man-made than nature's made. And now again, the pandemic has taught us to get back to our roots, connect back to our natural self. So if we are born on Mother Earth, we have to be a shaman in one of our lifetimes. And that is why a lot of people are very fearful and scared of being, shamanic workshop. There's so much fear related to it because uh, initially when the healers were all shamans and the religion prophecy began, and they were killing them because they wanted to be more powerful. So we all have lost our lives during that time when there was this huge transformation where religion took over, and all our natural intuitive senses are lost. So now is the time, is this you don't have to do too much. You just have to understand your true nature, because the minute I rattle, doesn't it connect to something that you already know? Like, simple thing like, it just makes us realize, that yes, this is so familiar. The drums, when the drumming happens, we all somewhere become so connected to that sound, because that's the sound of the beat of the Mother Earth. So we all have been connected to this. We've all been part of this. It's just that we all need to come back to it, because now that is how we are able to heal ourselves. We are able to know our own essence.
Yeah, thank you, Mala. The next question is, what is the process of getting in touch with our spirit guides and masters through shamanism?
So you have to learn how to journey, and also you need to get your you must know who's your power animals, because when you are in partnership with your power animals, you how many of you feel powerless, helpless, and there are times when you feel very weak, and you feel ki, I'm lacking that power. So sometimes we've lost our power because the partnership that we've had, as kids, the kids are walking around, they will hold a snake also, they will look into the teeth of the cat also, they will go near the cow also, and we'll tell, no, no, don't go there, lat maar dega, ye kar dega, wo kar dega. But children are not fearful because they are friendly with them. So we have to also become friendly with our animal friends. We have to become friends with our plant kingdom. Everything. We have to be in a relationship of love with everything around us. The very nature of us is what is being reflected to us in the form of plants, animals, birds. I remember Gurpreet ji telling us this story about this Sufi guy, and he walked with some food in his bag, and he walked up to Makkah Medina, and just when he was walking for like those 2 3 days, he opened that food packet to eat, and he realized there was so many ants and insects over there, and so beautifully and compassionately he covered it back and went back. He was almost there at Makkah Medina, but he decided to go back and leave those insects where it belonged to. So that is the love and compassion that we need for our friends. I'm not talking about friends as in only humans. Each and every energy that you come across, even if it is an ant, we must have that level of compassion for them. We as kids, we would look at an insect and we would just just मार दो, मतलब ऐसे कुछ, like we didn't think so much. But now if I see something, I would not want to kill it. I would say कि अच्छा अपने आप चला जाएगा, or I'll talk to them and I'll tell them, I don't want to kill you. You are such a nice cutie thing. Why don't you just make place for yourself and move around, or just pick up on a paper and just leave it on the side. So that level of compassion we must bring, because when we have that level of compassion, our children will have, our new generation will see us. What we see, we become. We grow that in ourselves. So somewhere we have to learn to start. So shamanism somewhere is all about compassion, because I've realized that many lifetimes that I went into, I did all kind of workshops, but when I learned shamanism, somewhere I became more compassionate. I realized that I could become more uh, thankful for this life, because it's so amazing how spirit takes form of a bird or a plant or a food and comes and serves you. How it transforms itself into what we need to learn and shifts into these energies. So we must learn, if not much, little bit about shamanism, connect with the Mother Earth, understand what omens are, because every day we are being given omens. Because if you're walking, when you start trusting and believing, and when you start walking this path, and you are walking up to some meeting and you asking, what kaisa jayega, theek hoga ki nahi, whether I should go or not, because every time to meditate for an hour or two is not possible. So sometimes you are wondering क्या होगा, आज मैं meditate भी नहीं कर सका, मैं ये भी नहीं कर सका, अब कैसा जाएगा. And then you shut your eyes and you tell your guides and masters, I'm going for this meeting, and just be there for me and just guide me and show me how it's going to be. And a beautiful butterfly comes around you and just tells you, good luck, it's going to be a life changing meeting for you. And it happens. So I must tell you this story. I began my shamanic journey, and I would, want spirits to constantly validate me. They are listening to me. So one day I'm walking on Carter Road, and I am telling that spirit guide. It looks like those so many eagles around. That time moving in the morning. So I'm saying, if you are listening to me, and if you're really listening to me, show me an omen. And I'm like constantly telling that, please, if you're listening to me, tell me, that you're listening to me, and show me how you're listening to me. And I closed my eyes and I said, please, please, I really want to know if you're listening to me. And can you imagine what happened? The eagle went around my head and went down, okay? And it went into that kachraka thing that was there and picked up a gerbera. It picked up a gerbera. I'm still getting goosebumps. That was my first, practice of connecting with the spirit guides, or the power animals. And beautiful red gerbera it carried in its beak, and it went around and just left. And years after that, I was going for Jasmuheen's dark room retreat, and I was telling that, you have to give me an omen. You cannot, I'm taking such a huge thing, 9 days, 11 days, you are in a complete darkness, and you are not going to eat, and you're not going to, speak so much. So, am I doing the correct thing? What is going to happen? How it will happen? And out of, first of all, I got into it, because normally people don't get into, those workshops. It takes years. So, and then I had this little baby owl who fell in my in my balcony, and it stayed there for a day and then left. So these are all omens for you to know that, you know, you, whatever you are doing, or, and owl is about being able to see in the dark, and I was going for a dark room retreat. So we do get omens, we do get answers. We need to connect to our masters, to the to everything around us, and these beautiful plants and birds and animals. I just feel everyone should know this magic, because what others sell magic to us, and we blindly say, oh, you know, they are so powerful and she can do this and she can. We all can do it. We all are magical beings. We all can create magic for ourselves. And we should do it, because we have been given this chance in this lifetime to experience this magic for our own self. We can empower our own self. Does that make sense to all of you?
Yes, that is so beautiful. It was so exciting to listen to that experience of yours. And there are two questions which are related here.
Yeah.
One is that how do we know that who is our power animal, or angels? That is one question. And the second question is that in my meditations and dreams, I see a lion looking into my eyes, and I don't get scared but feel cozy with him. Does it mean that that is my power animal?
Yes.
So how does the power animal connect? I mean, how do we know that this is a power animal?
One thing is that you know, do a journey with a shamanic practitioner, and ask who it is. And I'm sure all of you are such spiritual masters yourself. All of you are great masters. If you will meditate with an intent, you will get a sense that yes, this is my power animal. And you will see the images of those animals again and again, or you will you know, you will get that intuitively. But I personally feel in meditation, you would, if you put out an intent that, you know, for next 1 week I'm going to meditate on that, who is my power animal. And you know, so you can get that. People who are not able to still find their own, they can always take help from a shamanic practitioner. And today we can try and retrieve one of your power animals when we have time today. If we have time,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah, we would love to do that. There is one question where, like, when you are doing your journey, the spirit guide, you mentioned to Anu that the spirit guides will communicate through you and the messages will come. So the question here is that how does the spirit guide communicate with you? Is it through auto writing or
So
messages
depends.
through the
Sometimes
meditation?
they will directly tell you. Sometimes they will send an image for her. Like, you know, there were times when I would ask a question for my client, and they would show me an ocean, and along with the ocean, there are these different kind of birds and things like that. So if I tell any five of you to interpret what does an ocean mean with birds, and you know, those deep, it's with, it's like a valley and then there's an ocean. So I'm sure all five of you will interpret it differently, right? So in that case, I am not supposed to interpret and tell Anu that, you know, I saw this and I think you are going to be drowned and this and that, because that is the wrong answer. The answer is that there is a deep valley, and the valley flows with this ocean, which is absolutely blue color, and there are these beautiful birds around it. And this is what your answer is. And probably Anu would understand the answer, because she can relate to that valley, that blue ocean to her may mean life. Those birds may mean movement to another world. Maybe she is looking at moving out from one place to another, and that is showing that maybe that place is going to be wonderful for her, because there is movement, there is life, and there are birds. Birds she could think as the symbol of, you know, prosperity or joy or happiness. So you could get answers in the form of a word, it could be a picture, it could be a direct answer, yes and no, and it could be anything. Like they may not give any answer. There are times when they just don't answer anything, and then I just tell the client that you will have to wait. Maybe the time is not right for you to get the answer right now. Maybe nothing will happen right now. So the answers are, it varies. Yeah.
Okay. The next question is that there is one person sharing here that I fly in my dreams and I see me riding lion, and then I see that I rule the sea. Fishes around me are there, and I'm very happy. What does this mean?
So you tell me, what does this mean? Because somehow we always give away our power to others when we, you know, tell, you know, कि ये मैंने देखा, अब आप बता दो. मैंने बोला कि अब आपका नुकसान होने वाला है, तो instead of something good, you will feel that, you know, माला ने बोला है and she is तो so good, she's done so much, तो मेरा तो कुछ अच्छा नहीं होने वाला है. But the idea here is that how do you interpret flying? How do you interpret a flying tiger, you said, or a lion? Lion.
Ma'am, I see lion.
Lion.
Always.
So how
And
do you interpret? And you said in the end that I am very joyful. So maybe this is something that you can, you know, meditate on and write down. What does it mean to you? What is it, the significance of this? And you must encourage your own self when you see things like this, that you know, write and you kind of acknowledge your own power. The power is there in you. You need to see and acknowledge that and accept. Most of the time we don't accept that, yes, I am powerful, I can do it.
ma'am, so for lion, I didn't get answer for a long time, but in one of my in my childhood healing session, I saw that in one lifetime, one lion brought me up. I was abundant, and a lion took care of me and all. So after that, every time I get a dream, I think that maybe my soul is still connected to a lion, but I have this uh, feeling of yeah, you say power, right? So
Yeah.
when I rule the sea and all, it's like I am joyful. I am very scared of water. I have hydrophobia. I cannot even go near swimming pool. But in my dreams, I go under the sea and I play with fishes, and it's and I don't get drowned. I have no fear at all.
Yeah. So
And
I
I
think
fly since my childhood. I have no idea why do I fly, but I fly a lot.
yeah.
Like I fly with my hands as using wings.
Yeah. So maybe lion is your power animal, and as I said, if you you know, become friends with your power animal, you acknowledge them, you connect with them, and they love dancing. So when we dance and we allow them to, you know, dance with us, and we, I want to give you this example. If you hire someone and if you do not give, you tell that person ke, good, I will give you 10,000 every month, आप ना रोज आना ये चेयर पे बैठ जाना. Tell me, after 2-3 months what will happen? Any one of you could give an answer. That person will leave the
Maybe
job.
he won't come. Maybe, because
Yeah, he will leave the job because, you know, if you've hired someone, that person or wants to serve you, right? It's very true for our power animals and our spirit guides. when we don't take their help, or when we don't acknowledge them, when we don't participate with them, we don't practice with them, then they get bored and they leave us. A lot of times we see that we've lost our intuitive power, we've lost our power to feel ki, I can do this, or I can. We are always doubtful, we are always disconnected, we are always. So power is not only about ki I am very strong. Power is about intuitive power, compassionate power, the power to love, the power to have fun, the power. Everything has its own power. So somewhere we lose that power because we are so engrossed with the outer world, with that materialistic things. We feel कि ये करेंगे वो करेंगे, but just shut your eyes and just connect with your power animals. And if you can see my background, my children makes fun of me because this is my, where I'm sitting is my meditation room, and I only have pictures of all the power animals. So they say you आपने खाली कुत्ते बिल्ली के ही फोटो लगा रखे हैं, हमारे एक भी पिक्चर्स ही नहीं है. But they don't know that they are my spirit guides, and they are my power animals. And they are too young to understand that this is more beautiful than having your own pictures. So that is how you connect with your power animals. You will have it on your screensaver, you will have them on your pillows, you will have them in your keychains, and you will talk to them, you will connect with them, you will tell them, today I'm going for a party, or I'm going for this interview, please be there with me, please make sure that uh, I am protected, I am helpful, I am joyful, maybe I'm able to do this work well. Because end of the day we are all interconnected. We cannot, if I say that मैं जाके सब कुछ कर लूंगी, मैं नहीं कर सकती, because I will need somebody to drive me, I will need that road to walk on, I will need something to wear. So even the clothes that I'm wearing has a spirit, because it's coming from the plants and the animals and the five elements that we talk about. So everything I am covered with the nature. So I cannot be complete without everything else. Everything else completes me, and that what makes me one. So that oneness we have to walk along at all times. We cannot say, oh, I meditate now, then I feel oneness. But when I go out now, वो अलग है, ये अलग है, वो है, ये मैं हूँ. No, we are all the time that oneness. And that is what it gives you when you're constantly in connect with your power animal, your spirit guides. You don't have to be disconnected. Sometimes we are disconnected, but these small things help us to connect back.
Shalina has asked a question here that my power animal is crow or raven, and one crow visits me often and makes a faucet dripping sound. What does that mean? She requires a bit of
You
your
will
help
have
for
to find
interpretation.
out for yourself. As I said,
Okay.
I will speak from my knowledge or my
Hmm.
knowledge or limitations, and I would not answer to you till I don't journey, and I wouldn't journey on this. I would want you to find out for yourself, to be able to see what it is. But crows and ravens are actually our ancestors. They are the face of ancestors. They are also a face of Shani Maharaj. So maybe you get some answer when you meditate on it. That, or you speak to the crow and ask what you bring to me, what message you bring to me, and connect to your intuitive self and trust that what you are thinking is correct. Because we don't want to trust our own intuitive self, we want all the time somebody to tell us, ये ठीक है, ये correct है, खाना बनाएंगे, खाना ठीक है. नहीं ठीक ही है, खाना बहुत अच्छा बना है, खाओ, तो सब बोलेंगे हाँ बहुत अच्छा है। जब हम पूछेंगे 10 बार अच्छा बना है क्या, अच्छा बना है, हाँ ठीक ही है, यू गेट दैट आंसर। बट यू से आज खाना बहुत अच्छा बना है, तो सब क्या बोलते हैं, हाँ आज खाना बहुत अच्छा बना है। You have to change your own energies, you have to trust, and when the whole kainat is supporting you, then what do you fear?
Yeah.
Why should you?
There's one, yeah, true. Thank you so much for that. Such a wonderful answer you gave. There are two beautiful things which I've read. Anu mentioned some time back that she has seen your Purnamada episode and she was wanting a sign. And then you picked her name while talking. So she is very happy and she is sending you a lot of love.
Thank you.
And another message here is from Nidhi Turate, who says that I see butterfly whenever I ask universe to give me the sign that my mom is good in the other world. Can I say butterfly is my power animal? Today I got a
So
sign in your
butterflies
form.
are guiding angels. They could be
Huh.
your power animals, but power animals um, are wild animals. Like
Okay.
you could have it as one of your power animals, but normally your power animals are your wild animals.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's saying that today I got a sign in your form because her name also was Mala. So she's sending you love.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you
And
so much.
someone is asking that how this is different from Akashic records, if you can answer that question.
Akashic records are records that are there in the upper world that we, use for our references when we die and we go back, or when we are like now when we meditate and we do a life between life journeys and we go to the upper world and we connect to our records that in my record I was supposed to be you know uh, transforming myself, giving up all my materialistic things, and now becoming more to the service of the world, following my path. So those are Akashic records. But when you do a journey, you journey to the upper world, one, to connect with your masters, to find out an answer, or to ask for a healing for yourself or for your loved ones. And sometimes you will travel to the upper world or lower world to explore, like how we go in a plane to New Zealand, we go to Germany, we explore different worlds. So upper world also has many worlds, and we get chance to explore. So sometimes when people have out of body experiences and they go travel to these worlds, but they don't travel with an intent. So here in shamanism, we must have an intent why we want to travel to the upper world or to the lower world. Without an intent, you will not be able to find an answer. So it will not work. You will not meet anyone. You must have an intent that I want to travel to the upper world because I want to go connect to my masters or to explore this world. So we have, when we do soul retrievals and all, we go to the world where if somebody heart is defected and they tell us that I need help, and master say usko heal the heart. So with the permission of the master, we want to give them a new heart, like how here the masters do in surgeries, they do a replacement of the organ. Here in shamanism, in that time they used to do a replacement of the heart. They would go to the world where they have hearts or they have these other body organs, and one of the heart is waiting to be picked up and to be replaced. That is the work, what we do in extractions. And in soul retrievals, we bring back the souls that are lost over the lifetimes. So there are so many different worlds, and it is amazing. See, in so many movies, we see, there is a different kind of world because he has seen that world somewhere. That is why he is able to make a movie out of it. Sometimes they have these very weird looking men, women, they have these weird looking eyes and stuff like that. So that is all we explore, and we see there are these worlds where, there are such tiny beings, or there are these worlds where you can actually can't be seen. So when you connect with that spirit guides, sometimes you're walking in the dark, and if there are people coming from there, then if you are connected to those masters and spirit guides, and you say, भैया मेरे को ना अभी आप मैं नहीं दिखूं ऐसा बना दो ताकि those people are I'm safe. And actually you are walking, people are walking, but they cannot see you because they have kind of shielded you. So this is, we feel it's magic, but it's all possible. ये कोई तंत्र या कोई जादू टोना नहीं है, ये एक कनेक्शन है. इट्स अ प्रैक्टिस ऑफ connecting with your masters, where you use it for the benefit of yourself and to serve others. Yeah.
Can we now meditate whatever we want to meditate upon, whatever you planned for us?
So I will take you into uh, a place where you could connect to the Mother Earth. And while we are in the lap of the Mother Earth, let's see if we find a power animal who wants to come to you today. So let's put out an intent 3 times before we begin. If you want to write it down, you can write it down. Let's sit down, or even if you want to lie down, it's absolutely fine. The power animal that is willing to come back to me, may I be able to retrieve that power animal? Or you can use it in your own language. My power animal who is ready to be retrieved today, may I be able to retrieve that animal today. May I be able to connect with my Mother Earth. Is everybody okay with that? Yeah. So what will happen? I will speak, and I will do little rattling, little drumming, and little of everything. And as I will guide you, even if you don't see any animal, do not get disturbed. Maybe the animal is not ready, or maybe you are not ready. Yeah. But I have a feeling that almost everybody will be able to retrieve their power animal today. Yeah. So I just want to make a request. When you see a power animal, the power animal today, when you see, try not to bring any snakes and worms. Okay? No snakes and worms. If you see any snake or worms or any butterflies also, do not seek them to come back, because we are not doing a journey. So I would, you could just move ahead. Do not hold on to any worms, insects, and snakes, reptiles. Am I clear? So just make sure that when you see any of these, you just move ahead with love and compassion and with a smile on your face, because today you are going to connect with a part of you, your power, and you will bring back your power animal. Don't make yourself so comfortable that you go off to sleep. I'm sure all of you are hungry, so you will not sleep. Yeah, so let's begin. You can dim your lights a bit if you want. Otherwise, if all of you have ear, ear eye guard, I would prefer if you have an eye guard. Something like this, an eye guard. Just take a moment and or just a dupatta around your eyes. No, not like that, Rashmi. That will not help, sweetheart. You will have to get a dupatta or an eye guard. We can just take a minute, get ourselves an eye guard or a dupatta. Breathe in and breathe out. And as you breathe in and breathe out, tell yourself your intent for this meditation. My intent for this meditation is to retrieve my power animal who is willing to come back to me. Breathe in and breathe out. My intention is to retrieve the power animal that is willing to come back to me. Repeat this intention for the third time. As you breathe in and breathe out, my intention of this meditation is to retrieve my power animal who is willing to come back to me. And as you breathe in and breathe out, imagine yourself standing at the edge of a tunnel. This tunnel is going deep under the earth. It's a small, little tiny hole, just like in the Alice in the Wonderland. There was a little hole. You are standing at the edge of that tunnel, of that hole, and you are sliding down with joy and happiness. Today, you are going to meet your power animal, your beautiful power animal. And as you slide down, you're going deeper and deeper into the earth. And as you breathe in and breathe out, you are sliding more deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And you're moving through the layers of the Mother Earth. And as you're breathing and as you're sliding deeper and deeper, you can see and smell and feel this beautiful Mother Earth taking you to the center of the earth. Just as you slide down and as you keep moving down, find yourself in the center of that place. And as you look around, look at the beauty of the Mother Earth. See what you see and feel what you feel. Bring your senses alive. You can see, hear, smell, and feel everything. And as you're walking, I want you to connect to that Mother Earth, as you can feel this Mother Earth below your feet. And you can look around and see as if it's a wild, wild jungle or a mountain, sand. What kind of a place is it? And as you're walking, I want you to connect to this beautiful tree in front of you. And as you connect to this beautiful tree, I want you to bow down and greet this tree. And as you greet this tree, I want you to hold on to that tree as if you're hugging, or you can lean on the tree with your back. Intuitively connect to that tree, finding your support either by leaning or hugging. And as you breathe in and breathe out, feel your deeper connect to the Mother Earth. Feeling your deeper connect to the plant kingdom. Feeling the support and love from the Mother Earth with this tree. And as you breathe in and breathe out, expand your heart and let your heart grow just as big as that tree, as if you're merging with that tree, letting go of all that pain, that physical, emotional, mental pain that you've been feeling for so long, and let go. Let go and completely feel empowered and feel that strength, that love that Mother Earth has for you. And as you breathe in and breathe out, remind yourself that you're never alone. Just as you're feeling so whole and complete, breathe in and breathe out. One more time, greet this tree and tell this tree, thank you. Now, every time you want strength, support, or you need grounded, you can hug or lean onto this tree and expand your heart and ground yourself and root yourself with the Mother Earth. And now, once you say thank you to this beautiful tree, I want you to start walking ahead. And as you're walking ahead, you will spot many animals. Just as they feel safe with you, you also feel safe with them. And as you walk and as you look at so many different birds and animals, you can look into the eyes of these two eyes of this beautiful animal that is coming to you repeatedly. These eyes are watching you, following you, and are familiar to you. Just with that love in your heart, move closer to spot who is waiting for you. And as you spot this animal, I want you to move ahead and see if you can spot it a few more times to be assured that this is your power animal. Keep moving. Keep trusting this process. And now, if you are seeing this eyes and this face, go up to this beautiful power animal and ask, "Are you my power animal?" And wait for the answer. And if the power animal says yes, have a connect. And if the power animal is not your power animal, then ask, where would I find my power animal? And maybe you will find a direction and move into that direction. And as you keep moving and keep breathing, you have finally come and spotted your power animal. Once again, ask, "Hello, are you my power animal?" What happened? Why did you leave me? At what age did you leave me? What was the purpose? Why did you leave me? Even if you don't get all the answers, it is absolutely fine. The intent is to bring back your power animal. What must I do so that you do not leave me? What power do you bring back to me? When you come back to me, what is the power that you bring back to me? Even if it is a word or a sentence or many, many sentences, be open to listen. Listen to what your power animal is telling you. As you retrieve your power animal, you also retrieve your lost power, which you lost while you were growing up or in one of your past lives. Today, you are going to retrieve it back. And as you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to cuddle and play with that power animal. And as you breathe in and breathe out, feel the power of this animal in you, as if you have merged in that power. Unconditional love, as you look deep into the eyes of your power animal, you can feel the love. And know that every time you need help, this power animal will be there for you, is always there for you. You breathing in and breathing out. If there is any question that you want to ask your power animal, take your time and ask. Ask, how must I connect with you? And now it's time to say goodbye and thank you. So I want you to connect to your power animal. Say thank you. Thank you for coming back into my life. Thank you for giving me my power. And as you breathe in and breathe out, a final goodbye to your power animal. Now you know that anytime you can connect back to your power animal. And as you breathe in and breathe out, a thank you and a final goodbye, you start walking back to the same path, moving through that tree, saying bye and thank you, final goodbyes. And as you keep moving, you are moving back through that tunnel, coming back to the edge of that tunnel, that hole where you began your journey. And as you breathe in and breathe out, you can feel the love and the healing. As you breathing in and breathing out, you are coming back to this point where you began your journey. And as you breathe in and breathe out, you can feel your body. You can feel your breath. And you can feel the lap of your mother, the lap of your Mother Earth. Just where you are, you can feel the presence of thy nature. and slowly and steadily, I want you to fill your heart with gratitude for this beautiful life. This life, fill in your heart with gratitude for this beautiful body. This beautiful body.
Recording in progress.
Thank you, Mala. It was lovely. I think everybody, you can have one or two feedbacks if you'd like to give. And put it on the chat. Everybody who had, who saw their para animal, who experienced it, why don't you put quickly on the chat? So we'll know the number of power animals that were there with us today. Okay. Cow, lion, tiger, wild dog, lion, elephant, lion, cow, peacock, raven, lion again, elephant, owl, tiger. Yeah, wonderful. Cheetah. Manu saw a cheetah, Mamta. Very nice. Ox.
Ma, can we see two animals?
Sure, you can see two animals.
Once I saw peacock and once I saw lion. I saw many times. Just once I saw peacock.
It's a bird, no? So, yeah. Mala is right here. Mala, where are you? Yeah. Sorry, she got logged off. Yeah. Yeah, Mala. So you can read the chat. There is peacock, there is tiger, there's lion, there is cheetah, elephant, bear, ox, cow. Mala, any last words that you want to say? People saw a lot of animals: lion, bear, tiger, cheetah. What about peacocks? People saw peacock also. Owl. Mala, you're muted.
So, did everyone come back?
Everybody is back.
Yeah, everybody came back.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want all of you to stay there, because that's not correct. So I'm sure all of you are back. Peacock is also a part, like Krishna, power animal is peacock. So yes, peacock.
Balaji, I saw peacock as well as tiger. First, I saw peacock and
Yeah.
then I saw a tiger. And
Okay.
tiger was there for quite some time with me.
Yeah. So
saw
did you
two of them.
ask if you are my power animal?
I requested him to be with me
Okay.
and save me, guide me. That's what I did.
Okay.
Peacock was only there for initial moment and then tiger was there.
So I think it's a tiger. Yeah.
Thank you. It was wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It was really wonderful because this is I'm so passionate about. I can actually keep talking about it, and I could go on and on forever. But
Malaji, I have a doubt. In my horoscope sign is also Leo, but my power animal also I felt lion is coming to me. Can it be happen?
lion,
Yeah.
because lion is your power animal. It is guiding you and protecting you. The thing is, when you meditate, you could ask what power it brings back to you. Sometimes, we have this, like you had this thing, you're saying you have this phobia for water. Maybe it brings back you the courage to overcome this fear. That is why you're seeing it, as if you're in the water and you are able to do. So you have to trust and build up that trust and realize that you have the power to overcome your fears, because it brings you back your lost power.
Thanks, Mala. That was lovely.
Thank
So,
you, Trupti Ben, because it's so amazing to be, here and be part of such lovely people around. And you always make it so special for me. Thank you so much.
thank you.
I
Thank you,
love you.
Mala.
I
Love
love you all.
too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
much.
much.
Thank you.
Wonderful session.
So I hope that the key message that
Thank you.
Mala has given today is very powerful. That what you fear will kill you if you become kind towards it. Then you can become complete. We get scared of breeze, no? Wind that blows, like storms, fire, Agni, Vayu, Bhumi, Prithvi, earthquakes, right? But what we are scared will kill us if you become kind towards it, kind towards animals, kind towards insects, kind towards trees. They will definitely give you benefit. You will actually be guided by them. कहते हैं ना कि जब कोई व्यक्ति मर जाता है तो वो सितारा बन जाता है. You become a star, we say, right? It's so beautiful because if you understand the deeper meaning of that, you will understand oneness. So the oneness that Mala speaks about, one Mala, yeah, that's really what it is. That हम जब सितारे बन जाएंगे तो फिर सितारों को देख के बादलों को देख के we get so many messages, right? Mala ने कितना सुंदर कहा कि when she was walking and she asked, please give me a message. हम लोग कई बार करते ना, we look at बादल देख के कि इसका शेप ऐसा है, किसी को कुछ दिखेगा, किसी को कुछ दिखेगा. I loved what Mala said, that don't try and interpret. मुझे मत पूछो, because आपने वो देखा है ना, तो आपको पता होना चाहिए कि उसका मतलब क्या है. Right? I think that what she said was so powerful because it gave you back the power.
Yes.
At no point did she say, I'll interpret or I'll help you. No. She said, तुम देखो, तुम्हारे लिए शायद ocean का meaning कुछ और होगा, किसी के लिए कुछ और होगा, right? Now trust that meaning. Mala said it very nicely. Trust that meaning. Maybe that's your meaning, right? So the key is take back your power. Don't let the power go to somebody else. I think these are the key takeaways, that Mala has definitely put a finger on. It's really beautiful. And I always...
Ma'am, can I share something?
Haji Anupa, please share.
So ma'am, just 2 days back, I dreamt that I was sitting before a mandir, and it was a black murti of Krishna standing like this. And I suddenly see a baby elephant, a baby calf, elephant coming running towards me, and it's crying. It literally was crying, and its trunk was up like that. And I just went and I just hugged it, and I was feeling so much of, and I don't know, and I was feeling love. And at the same time, I got this feeling, I was smiling, I could feel myself smiling in my dream, that I was feeling so much of gratitude that God, you are everywhere. And then this thing comes up, and today my power animal, one little baby calf running across and smilingly coming. So I interpreted that it was my inner self which was crying, and today it's come back to me.
Oh,
Joyful
very
and happy.
nice.
I love
Very
the
nice.
session.
Lovely, Anupam. Very nice.
Yeah, I
So
just
big
love the
clap.
session.
Thank you. A big clap to Mala, and we can all give a nice reaction. A big heart for Mala. Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you so
much,
much.
Prithvi ji. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for this love and for holding me in this space of love always.
Thank you.